Down in the Dugout, powered by Scout Scoops.
Everything baseball and quite a bit more. It used to be a little bit more, but I think we do quite a bit more now. So tonight we've got Logan with us, a friend of the show. Obviously, he's with us often as a co-host, so we want to welcome Logan to the house. Him and his Miami. Is that a Miami Marlins hat?
It's a Miami Amigos hat.
Oh,
it was
okay.
a minor league team in the mid '70s for 1 year.
That's a badass hat. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, nice hat. And Scotty, we want to welcome, obviously, Scott Spindler with us. He's with us every week. Welcome aboard, Scotty.
What's up, buddy? How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Doing good. No complaints. Obviously, you will notice there is one chat window missing tonight, and probably for the better.
Yeah, he. Let me explain why he's absent tonight.
He's probably in Comiskey jail right now. Well,
Chris chose to go to a real life baseball game today at Comiskey instead of hanging out with us, which you can't blame him, Bob. Let's
Respect. Yeah, respect.
Yeah, I mean, he gets to hang out with his family, go to the baseball game, and enjoy some real life baseball. But we can still be bitter. We can still be bitter.
No,
because
you're just talking superficial crap. All right.
Yep,
Here's the real deal. That bastard knew that I bought an authentic 1983 Chicago White Sox home jersey for tonight's show, out of respect for him, and I was going to wear it on the show. So what does he do tonight?
Total disrespect.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I can appreciate the fact that he's at a real baseball game.
Yep.
Yeah, Logan's gonna go beat his ass right now.
He is. We start the show. We're trying to, be all professional.
Thank you. There it is.
We're trying to be all professional. We're trying to get the show going. And Chris texts us right now, Mercedes home run. So, he doesn't care about what's going on in the show, obviously.
Yeah.
He only cares what's going on in the baseball game.
Yeah.
He's here in spirit.
Yeah.
He's here in spirit.
So they win. They're 4-4. Woohoo. Hey, also some really good news. I know everybody was waiting with bated breath. Samsung came to the house today, and they were very excited to tell me that they will not be fixing my TV, but instead they will be taking that TV back, and they will be offering me the newest 8K model of that 65-inch. So I know everybody was extremely worried about that. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Scott, I know you had a couple of sleepless nights there.
I was upset about that, Bob. I was concerned, and but more importantly, I was concerned about the potential Samsung sponsorship.
Right.
That was going to be ruined because you were trashing Samsung.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was. I don't think it was trashing. I think it was frustration.
Absolutely, yeah.
But here we are tonight. I just wanted to call out what a wonderful job they did today, and I'm very excited for my new TV to show back up. And
That's awesome.
So hey, obviously, Sony San Diego just dropped their next gen deep dive trailer tonight. We're going to get into that. We have a lot to talk about, or I guess a little bit to talk about at least. But let's go ahead. We're almost a full week into the Major League Baseball season. Some excitement. Some not excitement, a little controversy in New York today, a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah. Pirates looking not good. So let's talk around and and look who's in the chat. Look who is in the chat. Unbelievable.
Oh, look at he shows up in the chat.
Who's our moderator? Can we ban him? Unbelievable. That's a great jersey, isn't it? By the way, Logan.
It is.
Oh yeah, easy. I also have a throwback Chris Bryant in my. I was actually going to wear that today, and the Pirates lost.
The Chris Bryant. You shouldn't have brought it.
No, it's okay.
He turns Bob salty.
It's okay. Chris looks like he's having fun. He looks like he's adjusted his swing a little bit.
Yeah.
Today he had another bomb straight center field in PNC. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what. I put out a tweet yesterday about some stocks up on some teams that I've been really, really digging in this year, especially early on. I've watched a ton of games, basically that MLB package is fantastic.
Obviously,
you can watch
I agree.
the replays. You can watch. I watch them while I'm working. I watch them when I'm home. Whatever I can do.
Yeah.
And, I've really been putting a lot of time into, catching up on the games when I miss them. And, yeah, I mean, the Cubs are definitely better than I expected. I mean, obviously they're struggling offensively a little bit. But
Sorry, no.
Arrieta is actually, he's looking much better than I seen, him
He
pitch.
struggled today.
He did. He
Yeah,
struggled
yeah, he
today. But I'll say this: the command wasn't there. The two-seamer was missing. The curveball was left high.
Yeah.
But he fought his ass off to get through.
That's what you get from Arrieta. You get
Yep.
he's gonna fight with you, to the end. But there's a few teams out there. We'll talk a little bit over the next hour, but there's a few teams out there that you got to say, are playing much better than we. We
talk to me about that. Talk to me. Who's impressing you so far early on? And Logan, I want to get your thoughts too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I put a tweet out yesterday. The Phillies, the Reds, the Angels. I mean, I think those three teams off the top.
Yeah.
Being a Phillies fan, I was really disappointed with that game today with the Mets and the Braves you were talking about a little bit ago. What a disaster of an ending to that game, or the Mets and the Marlins. For those who missed it, it was
Conforto at the plate.
Conforto at the plate in his crouch stance, and he basically took a hit by pitch to end the game with the bases loaded and gave the Mets the win. But I mean, he was basically covering the strike zone. I mean, you see all that. You see it a lot. You see it all the time. But I think it was a little bit more than you would normally see. A little bit more. I mean, if you see that replay, I mean, he's right over the plate.
He is.
That's horrible.
At the very last second, you see the elbow flinch out just a bit. But come on, is that Conforto's fault or is that the ump's fault?
No, it's not. I mean, Conforto, he did what he did. It was a little bush league, but he did what he did.
That's fine.
I mean, but yeah, exactly. I mean, they won the game. So, the thing that I have the issue with is, we have the replay, but we can't do it at the end of the game. I don't know. There's something wrong with the way that game ended, and I don't blame the Marlins for being upset. I don't blame Don Mattingly for being upset.
Right.
If I was a Marlins fan, I'd be livid. And, I mean, Conforto, somebody said in our chat, Conforto is probably going to get some chin music, the next game, So just, again, I mean, you don't like to see games end like that. And, for somebody like a team like the Mets who, they have such high expectations this year with all the signings, and they have struggled early on. I mean, again, we're a few games into the season. They only played a few games because they, had that first series kind of canceled out. But they've been struggling, and to give them a win like that, I just, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. But, on the flip side, like we were talking about, I loved seeing, the Phillies get off to a nice start being a Phillies fan. I think the Phillies are playing a little bit better than people expected. I think their bullpen has been much better. That's been the big difference.
Right.
Their bullpen is, I think they've given up like one earned run besides Vince Velasquez. Velasquez has struggled. He's a guy who came over in a trade years ago and has struggled in the rotation. He's been bouncing around between the rotation and the bullpen. He's got great stuff, but he's just never been able to put it all together. And, he gave up 4 earned runs versus the Mets the other day. So he's been kind of the weak link in the bullpen. And I don't know how long the Vinny V experience is going to last in Philadelphia. I think right now they got a lot of good young arms. Like Connor Brogdon's come up and he's pitched real well for the Phillies. I don't know if you guys have been following him, but I mean, he looks great. He's already got, I think 2 or 3 wins out of the bullpen, but he's throwing, 95 to 100. He's got some great movement on his balls. I mean, he was a guy who in the minor leagues was a starting pitcher, and they converted him to a reliever last year when he made it to he was basically one of the alternate players in the alternate site, and they brought him up during the season. And he's pitched really, really well. So I think their bullpen has been really good. Their starting rotation has pitched really. Zach Wheeler pitched a great game, and last week against the Braves, and he's up again tomorrow, I think, when they resume this season tomorrow against the Braves in Atlanta. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with the second game. Nola obviously is Aaron Nola. He struggled a little bit in the 4th inning yesterday, but he's still Aaron Nola, solid. And the rest of the rotation has been pretty decent. Early on, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see teams struggling to get their starters 4, 5, 6 innings just because they're not used to it. Yeah. I think we definitely take it a little bit too easy in spring training. We've gotten to the point where these guys are just taking it so easy that when the season starts, they're just not prepared. You see hitters at the plate overmatched. you see pitchers struggling to go 3, 4, 5 innings.
Yeah.
And it's just because in spring training, they're getting one at bat and then they're out. They're pitching 1 inning and they're out. Like, I just think that we've just got to the point where we're like taking it too easy on some of these guys. You know, it's like these guys are professional athletes. They're built for this. They've been doing it their whole lives. I just think that, you know, we've got to the point where it's like just kind of gotten too analytical.
Well, yeah,
well, it's robbing us of great moments too.
I would agree. But now let's talk about that, because obviously if you go back to baseball, and Logan, I want you to talk about this. We go back to baseball 15, 20 years ago, a pitcher throwing 9 innings, 110, 115 pitches, 120, not the biggest deal. And so, but now the game has evolved. I mean, whether you like it or not, we look at these, they've almost, I don't know, I don't want to say militarized the bullpens, but there is definitely a different way. Remember, bullpens used to be, and they even talked about this on the Cubs game a little bit, and I wanted to go, bullpens used to be guys who couldn't cut it as starters, right? But that's not the case anymore. So now, do we like that, Logan? Or is that, would you rather go back to the way it was?
I think that, I mean, there's a way to meet in the middle, right? Like, bullpen guys are so specialized at this point. Like, you have Aroldis Chapman, you have Crochet, you have all of these guys that are coming out and just pumping 102 out of the bullpen. Right. And that's incredible. And you want those guys on the mound because, I mean, that's virtually untouchable. Like, what do you do with that? But at the same point, like, if you have a Blake Snell, for example, in the World Series last year, who's dealing through 6, is virtually untouchable in that game, and then you yank him and your bullpen gives it up, or you had the was it Barrios who was throwing a no-no for the Twins earlier this week?
Yep.
And had only thrown 80 pitches through 6, and he gets yanked with a no-hitter. Like, and I think that happened 2 or 3 different times this week, where people were taking no-hitters fairly far, and then they were getting pulled for a bullpen arm. And I think that, you know, there's a time and a place. Obviously, you want those bullpen guys because they're so special throwing the baseball now. But at the same point, like, if your starter's rolling, let your starter roll.
Yeah.
And I mean, at least in my opinion, I don't see you know, less arm injuries out of pitchers now that pitchers are going shorter periods of time, right? Like, you have people like Jamison Tyone, who's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. Paxton just got announced that he's going to end up needing Tommy John this year. Like, it's, if you're saying you're trying to save the tax on a pitcher's arm, I can understand that argument, but at the same time, a pitcher's there to pitch. Right. Like, let those guys go out and do their job. Injuries are a part of the game. It's no different than someone getting hurt on a kick return in football. Like, that kind of stuff's going to happen. Or even with injuries, if you want to, like, see how fluky injuries can be, look at Fernando Tatis. He throws a normal swing and tears his labrum and dislocates his shoulder. Like, that stuff is just going to happen when you're playing sports.
Right. And I was impressed by Counsell yesterday. Obviously, the Brewers head coach leaving Woodruff in there, who had a no-hitter into the 7th. And pitch count was starting to climb, but even after he gave up the hit, he left him in there. And I was like, you know what? Good for him. Left him in there, and the Brewers ended up going on and winning that game in extra innings 4-2. But, so it was nice to see that. I agree with you, Logan. I think there is a happy medium somewhere. I understand wanting to protect your assets, but at what point? I mean, what are we really accomplishing, right? Are we really protecting them? Or is it just, are we playing with fear? It feels more like we're playing with fear.
I agree. And I think that, you know, there's such an emphasis on protecting, especially young pitchers' arms, that we're losing out on some of the magic on seeing pitchers be dominant over full games. And I mean, I was on the receiving end of it the other day. Luis Castillo absolutely dominated the Pirates over the weekend, and he pitched 8 solid innings. I think he even ended up going into the 9th before he got hit around a tiny bit and they took him out. But, like,
who's the closer for the Reds? Logan?
Amir Garrett.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God, don't get me started. But I mean, if you're going to have a pitcher like that, if you're going to have a pitcher dealing, he's going out there and he's just sitting down the order inning after inning after inning, don't lift him after 85 pitches. Like, let him go out and do his thing.
The only caveat I will place upon this is after a shortened season of last year, not getting a full year in, the anomaly of what took place last year, I can understand it a little bit, but I don't think that what we're seeing this year is a direct impact of last year. I think this is just the way it is now. So
that is. I think we're gonna see a lot more craziness over the next few months as the season starts to really kick in, and you're gonna see a lot of these pitchers, especially the young pitchers like Ian Anderson from the Braves. You're gonna start to see them really start to do crazy things to limit these guys in their innings, and you just want to you just wonder how really crazy it's going to get. I did see right before we came on that Mike Soroka is going to be shut down for a couple weeks with the Braves, and we'll see, what happens to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, as a purist, as a baseball fan, as somebody, who's obviously been following the game for years, and it's concerning to see at times. I mean, it is great to have the game back. Obviously, it's been so much fun watching baseball.
Beautiful.
It's been great. Especially seeing fans in the stand. You can't complain. But yeah, there's definitely things that are frustrating when you're watching these games and you're seeing pitchers pulled so early and all kinds of things. But again, I think it's just the game's changing. I think we have to accept that as well. And it's like with everything else. It's like change happens, and you have to either accept it or I guess you die out like a dinosaur, right? So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, this year is, an anomaly with a lot of the stuff, and then things start to get back to normal next year after this, this season, which is going to be, again, I think it's really going to be crazy as the season goes on, because a lot of these guys threw 60 innings last year, 50 innings, 70 innings. Right. I mean, are we really going to see a lot of starters going 200 innings this year? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I don't.
I mean, you're going to see, you're going to see some of the big time starters that you normally see go 240, 230 innings. You're going to see them going maybe 150, 160, and that's it, So, teams are going to use, they're going to use those deep prospect pools they have. The teams that have, like the team like the Padres could really benefit, having all those guys like Mackenzie Gore and all those guys in that, deep prospect pool that they have down there in AAA and AA. A team like that is really going to benefit from this. A team like the Rays always find a way to come up with all these pitchers, and they, pull these guys up from all different depths and levels, and they find a way to, get through a season. A couple of years ago, I remember all their pitchers were hurt in 2019, and they were just going crazy when they first introduced that whole opener thing. They were just bringing guys up for a few innings here and there, and it was just nuts. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. And, I can see the teams. This will be a year where I really, really think, I mean, usually teams with deep farm systems, you see the effect of those farm systems over a period of years. Very rarely do you see a team that has a great farm system have a major impact on a specific one season. I mean, you might get a couple prospects that get called up that make a difference, but I could see this year being a special year in which the teams that have those super deep farm systems are really going to benefit from those, just because you have so many pitchers that are going to come into play. And, if you look at some of these teams that are really loaded with pitching, like I said, the Padres, that's a team that's going to bring a lot of guys up. Then you look at a team like the Red Sox. The Red Sox have been playing better of late. They struggled early on. But as the season goes on, I mean, the Red Sox don't have a lot of depth in the minor leagues in pitching, So they're going to have a really hard time as the season goes on, bringing guys up unless they get, some guys playing, above their heads, or guys that, maybe step up that haven't, stepped up in the last couple of years. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a different year, I think, baseball wise, but it's baseball. So we all got to be happy. It's just baseball back.
Exactly. Scotty, now you talked about some of the teams that you've been impressed with. Logan, what about you? Is there a specific team or two that you have had your eye on or had a chance to watch over the last week or so that maybe isn't playing or coming out of the gate as hot as what maybe some of the experts have expected or did expect?
I mean, the two obvious or more obvious ones for me are the Braves and the Athletics.
Right.
Obviously, people expected the Athletics to kind of take a little bit of a step back, but I mean, the AL West is very winnable. I think that the Astros losing Verlander and losing some of their pitching pieces are going to hurt them long term. And I thought the Athletics were going to be right there to kind of pick up pick up the slack that the Astros gave them, and they just haven't so far. And the Atlanta Braves, I don't understand what's going on with them. Their offense, they're not hitting well at all, and then their pitching is, the pitching. I hate to put it this way, but their pitching is not going to be what carries the Braves. If they have to rely on their pitching, they're going to lose a lot of baseball games.
Their bullpen is they're struggling in the bullpen. Yeah. The rotation is what's going to take them as far as they go, and they haven't been getting that pitching. Again, it's early on. Pitchers are still struggling all across baseball, but there's definitely some concerning signs. And if you look at that National League East, that's a tough division. I mean,
it is.
No teams are going to, even the Marlins. I mean, they're all good teams. Any one of those teams can jump ahead, and all it's going to take is for the Phillies to be real. Right now it's like, okay, are the Phillies real or are they not for real? Whatever. But if they are, all of a sudden, that division is even worse for a team like the Braves and the Mets than it was before, because now, you have another team that could easily win that division. So
yeah, that division is a division that you can't afford to start off like 5-12.
Right.
You're going to be too far in the hole, and there's too many good teams ahead of you. And it's going to be problematic for the Braves. They need to figure out their bullpen, and they need to start hitting the baseball again. And I think that they're going to be fine, just because 1 through 9, they are very, very talented. But right now, it's just not showing up. I do want to say I have a new favorite non-Pittsburgh player in the league. I am all in on Shohei Ohtani.
What a joy to watch.
Yeah,
right?
Just unreal.
Yeah.
Going out there and throwing 101 and then hitting a 450-foot home run the same inning is just unreal. Shohei is my dude. I'm riding him through the rest of the year. I want him to stay healthy so bad. And I think the Angels I think this is the year. I think this is the year that the Angels do something for Trout.
Yeah, I agree. That was one of my teams on my stock up. I think the Angels are better than we thought. The Reds, obviously, when you're looking at that Central, we were all talking, it was the Cardinals and the Brewers, and, I still think those two teams are going to be there. But, I mean, let's face it, the Reds are playing much better than people expected. They have, they're still loaded offensively. And, they have a lot of good young players too. So, that division, obviously the Cubs, like we talked about, that's another tough division. So that's going to be much more difficult for the Cardinals to win, because I think a lot of people thought the Cardinals were going to win that division just running away. Everybody's like, yep, Cardinals, they got Arenado, they're going to win it. I would hold back on that, because I think it's going to be a dogfight to the end. I think that's going to be a close division. And the other division that, and Chris is here, isn't here. I wish he was here, because the White Sox have a lot of people predicting big things for them. And I was one of the guys that early on, I think a couple months ago, I said, I could see the White Sox in the World Series, but they got to be careful, because the Twins are playing really, really good, and you don't want to fall too far. Like, the Twins are laying a beating right now on the Mariners 10-2 in the 7th. So you don't want to fall too far behind. I mean, the White Sox are loaded. They have a lot of potential, a lot of good players, a lot of good young players. But the Twins are a dangerous team. I mean, they're definitely there till the end. We've all talked about the Royals, which the Royals are definitely going to be better than we all expected them to be. So I could see that, that's going to be a dogfight with the White Sox and the Twins till the end. I think the Royals finish in third in that division. I could easily see that.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would agree everything you guys just said. That's a scary division to start falling behind in. And I also want to give out, and not just because I watched the game today, it was nice to see Polanco put one off the wall and get another hit throughout the game, to see him. And that's important, I think, not just because of him, but if the Pirates do continue to struggle like we think they will, he's a pretty important trade piece for them and could net something decent if he can get that back going. So obviously I wish it wasn't against the Cubs, but I think that's important for Polanco to get that back going. And the double off the wall was opposite field power. Now, Polanco's always had decent opposite field power anyways, but I think that's a sign that maybe he's starting to see the ball and the bat's starting to come alive a little bit for him.
I'm done with him. Like, I'm sorry. It's been 5 years of this is the year Gregory Polanco breaks out, and then he starts the year just looks horrible. In the shortened season last year, he was horrible. He is not good in right field. Like, they have a guy, Phillip Evans, is a player. Like that kid is something, and I want him to be the everyday right fielder until the Pirates get smart and move O'Neal Cruz out to right field, and then he can take over every day there sometime soon. But I think ultimately the Pirates are obviously going to be sellers at the trade deadline. But my biggest name that I think will be on the move probably sooner rather than later is Adam Frazier. Like he's so good at the plate, and he's a very serviceable utility defender. I think that Adam Frazier makes a lot of sense to be on the move fairly quickly, and he'll get a decent return.
I think the Pirates do have to play Polanco to try to get that trade value up so they can move him. Because I definitely you don't see him with that team at the end of the season. He'll be gone at some point this season. They have an opt out at the end of this year anyway. So regardless of what happens, he's not going to be a Pirate next year.
So now I want to, if he is traded, that opt out is negated, correct? Or is that built in?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's where it works. So
it's just one of those things. Like, I think that teams have enough video on Gregory Polanco at this point. I don't think even him having a pretty good start to the season is going to raise his trade value all that much, unless someone thinks that he needs a change of scenery, or honestly what he needs to do is get traded to an AL team and be a DH, like a platoon DH with someone. Because
what is your thoughts, Nutsy, on the Reds? What do you from seeing them in your division? What is your thoughts on how they're playing?
So I hate Amir Garrett, and I'm going to put it on record again. I absolutely despise Amir Garrett.
Sorry,
but I like
Amir.
We apologize. We hope you'll still come on next week.
But I like a lot of the other members of that team. Like, I like Castellanos. I like a lot of their young guys. I like Luis Castillo. It's a card that I'm going to go out and get in Diamond Dynasty right away this year. I like the Red squad. I don't think offensively they're going to be able to sustain what they're doing right now. Like, Tyler Naquin is playing way above his head. Castellanos is a great player, but
streaky.
I mean, he's playing a little bit over his head right now.
Yeah.
They have India playing unreal baseball. Realistically, I think that Reds roster is good, and I think that they're much closer to a playoff team than they're not. But I think they're going to come down to earth over the next couple of weeks for sure.
But I like it. I definitely like the lineup, and when I label Castellanos as a streaky player, that's not a negative. It's just that throughout his career, he'll go through his phases throughout the season. And if someone said, "Hey, would you take him back in Chicago?" In a heartbeat. He loved it there, and the fans loved him.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love Moustakas as well. I think he's a big time player.
Yeah.
You gotta love Moose. He's
did you guys? I don't know if you guys talked about it, but what did you think of the Castellanos situation with the 2-game suspension and standing over Workman?
You bring a good question. I talked to a very good friend of mine who's a die-hard Cardinals season ticket holder, goes to every game, goes to 5 or 6 series on the road every year, and she knows my pure hatred for the Cardinals. She knows that. But her and I can always talk, and she hates the Cubs. But I said, listen, to me, that was baseball. That was baseball. I can be okay with everything that happened in that sequence. Even Nick getting up and pumping his arm and fist at the pitcher in celebration, don't care. It's baseball. What I don't like is the suspension. The suspension was weak ass by Major League Baseball. That's my take. Everything else I can live with, have no problem from either side.
Yeah. I mean, you can't try to litigate. I say litigate, going back to my lawyer roots. You can't try to legislate emotion out of the game of baseball. It's just the times are changing. There's more players like Tim Anderson, Castellanos, Fernando Tatis than there aren't. Like let the pitcher's K strut, let the batter show emotion when they hit a massive bomb. Like I'm all for putting more personality into the game of baseball. But you're right, that suspension is so soft. God, it's so soft.
You bring up a good question, and for those of you who for those people who get upset about showing up, baseball it's a hard game. It's unbelievably hard, especially from an offensive perspective. All right, it really is, and I have no issues as long as a guy isn't going out like really out of his way to mock someone. But if he just wants to toss that, I don't care if he tosses the bat so high and so far it goes out of the damn stadium. That doesn't bother me. Yeah, but so that's where I'm at too. But so anyways, we've talked Major League Baseball, and a little bit earlier I mentioned that San Diego Studios did a deep dive with their next gen. And obviously it's a trailer that many people, especially those who have next gen systems, have been eagerly anticipating. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on that, if you would. Logan, you just watched it. You saw it. Was there enough in there to get excited about?
No, I was actually really, really disappointed because I was expecting, obviously because Stadium Creator is a really, really big addition to the game, I knew they were going to focus a lot of time on it. But the fact that it took up 25 of the 30 minutes is kind of frustrating to me because ultimately at the end of the day, Stadium Creator isn't something for me personally that moves the needle all that much. I'm going to enjoy using everyone else's creations. I'm going to enjoy downloading stuff from the vault, but realistically, I'm going to create like 1 or 2 stadiums and then I'll never touch it again for the rest of the year. It's just I'm not a content creator in the way of creating things in the game like Scott is and Bacon is and a lot of others are. So I wanted to see more for the actual next gen gameplay. I wanted to see if there was improved visuals, if there was new face scans, if there was new like body types, if all of those things that I was hoping to see in next gen. I was hoping to see.
They did put out a short video before the stream. I don't know what time they released it today, but there was another one of those question and answers with Coach and Ramon, and he did address the face scans on next gen and said there are additional face scans, and they are high res and as well as the uniforms. So I was a little
well, they misnamed it. Let's just call it. It should have been Stadium Creator Deep Dive.
Exactly. Yeah. If it would have been Stadium Creator feature premiere, I would have had much more tempered expectations going into it. But when they say next gen and Stadium Creator, I want to see what the game can do on next gen. We've barely seen any pure gameplay and what it looks like on next gen outside of like kind of the canned replays that they show in the background. Like, show me what I'm working with. I know they put out the question and answer video that said they had a bunch of new updated face scans. Show me the face scans. Show me the improved bodies. Like, show me the improved graphics. Explain what's going on underneath the hood. So I know they've talked about 4K at 60 FPS, but like, give me more technical specs. I spent a fair amount of money on this box behind my computer. Let me know what the game's going to be able to do on it. I was disappointed personally. I think the stuff going on around this feature premiere, them revealing a lot of the 42 collection for Team Affinities and them debuting another 5 legends, the fact that we're going to have Hank Aaron and Pedro Martinez day 1 playable, like that kind of stuff is absolutely awesome to me. And it's awesome that they're getting content creators to reveal some of these new 42 cards. Like, that's super awesome as well. Overall, the feature premiere was kind of a letdown for me personally. It's awesome. Stadium Creator, super in depth. I am super cool. It's awesome that they worked on it for 3 years.
All right. I want to get into the Stadium Creator aspect of it, but Scotty, what are your thoughts, buddy?
I'm really intrigued by the Stadium Creator, so I have a little bit of a different perspective than Logan. I thought it was super. I love the different modes where it was, I think, the easy mode and then the pro mode. I think that's fantastic because you're going to be able to edit, whichever way you want to do. If you want to edit quickly and do something small, have some fun with it, or if you want to really get in depth. So I really, I think at one point they mentioned, the road, you could put so many miles of road around the stadium or some kind of crazy, crazy thing. So it's very cool. I like how they had the when you're creating it, it'll tell you the memory limit of what your stadium is, and if you hit 99, that's it. So it's really cool. It seems like they really went in a lot deeper on the stadium creator than I expected them to. So I'm very excited about it. I think it's a great feature. I mean, we were talking the other day. There's so many so many different things. You got fictional franchises and historical franchises you could play and create historical stadiums or fictional stadiums. But even if you're just playing a normal, franchise with one team or 30 teams or whatever way you want to do, I mean, you could create all 30 AAA stadiums now,
Right.
or 15 AA and 15, AAA. So like, there's so many, there's so many different things you can do. It's just going to add to the depth of the game. So I was super excited about the stadium creator from day one, when we first heard about it, and now I'm even more excited. I did expect more things around the graphics in this feature premiere. I thought we would see more, gameplay and graphical improvement. But I kind of think that we know what we're getting. We've seen a lot over the last few weeks and what the gameplay looks like. We kind of know what the gameplay looks like.
Yeah.
I do think that it's going to be a tremendous difference from the PS5 to the PS4, just because it's like we've said before, MLB 20 looks fantastic on the PS5. So
Right.
a game designed specifically for the 5, I think is going to be great. But yeah, definitely disappointed that we didn't get more in depth on grass and dirt and textures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought we might have saw more things around those, maybe rain or but again, we'll see. I mean, the great thing is we only have a week. We have a week to find out.
Mm-hmm.
1 week from tonight, we will be staying up till midnight to play MLB the Show. So it's
almost surreal.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's finally here 1 week. So I think everybody's at this point. We're all like, okay, baseball season started. We've got out of the park. We've got all these other games. Bring us the show now, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's just at that point where it's like, I just want the game, right? So, I think there's still complaints. I mean, we've talked about the complaints last week for franchise mode, and we talked about, the different, things that people were upset with, but a lot of those complaints are disappearing already. I've seen a lot of the guys that were complaining already, like, yeah, Fred, Stadium Creator looks great. So I just, a lot of those complaints are going to be gone by next week when the game comes out. The game, somebody put out a tweet today and I liked it and I think I retweeted it. But if you look at best overall gameplay from a sports game last year, what was the best gameplay? It was MLB the Show. I mean, it was. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, I think
I would go
if
PGA
you
2K personally.
okay,
but-
well, okay, yeah. I mean, PGA Tour definitely was a great game, absolutely. But from the traditional sports where you're looking at baseball, basketball, football, hockey, team sports where more than one guy on the course or one guy on the screen at a time, MLB The Show had the best gameplay. It just did. And it traditionally is one of the top 1 or 2 games, if not the top game every year, just from a gameplay standpoint. So, I do think we're going to get more of the same, next week when we get the newest one out. And, I think it's definitely something to be excited about. I mean, obviously, would there have been things that I would have liked to seen in this stream today? Yeah, absolutely. But, we got one more week. And I'll be honest with you, I'm super excited about next week's stream. I'm not a DD player, but it sounds like there's going to be a lot of reveals. They did tease a lot of reveals for next week. So, I'm definitely excited to see what I guess there's a lot more legends that they are teasing. And so we'll see. But yeah, it's exciting to find out, what the game's going to play like when everybody gets their hands on it a week from tonight.
Well,
I'm curious.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm curious about next week. So obviously I feel like I'm the resident DD player on this panel because I do both franchise and DD. But I'm curious to see what the reactions are gonna be because based on kind of like, everything that they've shown in the roadmap for next week's stream,
Yeah.
it doesn't really look like they added anything to DD. And I'm kind of curious to see. I mean, they've changed slightly things, right? Like the XP going towards the programs versus having to do program stars or whatever it might be. But it doesn't really look like DD got any big upgrades. Like by the end of the day, it might actually be that franchise got more changes than DD did this year.
Yep.
Well, Logan, talk to me about this. I don't play DD. I hate it, but I can appreciate that other people do. And I don't care that other people do. If that's the way you want to go and play it, play it. But Logan, I know you do participate in that mode, and I'm not sure if it's your favorite, but I know you have a love and an affinity for it. In your mind, what is it that you want to see them add?
I want to see them add more ways for me to take my team and play, right? Okay. So right now you're limited to playing against the computer, conquest, and playing online. It would be really cool, in my opinion, to be able to take my DD lineup and jump it into a franchise. Okay. Or dump my DD lineup into a March to October, or dump my DD lineup into any of the offline modes or ways to play that there are. Because DD, the cool part about DD, right, for me personally, is not so much the competitive nature of it. I know that's, the end all be all for a lot of people, but the cool thought for me personally is the card collecting aspect of it. It kind of scratches that itch I have to go rip baseball cards because I can do it virtually, and allowing me to make up teams of all-time greats in varying arrays, right? So this year I'm going to get to have an outfield featuring Andrew McCutchen and Roberto Clemente. Like, that's super, super cool. Right. And I know that we've already had that to a certain extent with people making creative players and people creating rosters and that kind of stuff. I know that there's already some of that ability, but there's something about being able to play with the people that I went out and grinded for, right, that has a little bit more pull to me. It's not me going and downloading a cap from the vault. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I grinded to get that card I have. So being able to go out and play with that card is would be really fun to me.
That is the one thing. I'm not a big DD player, but the one thing that Sony's game does do best, and I know we've talked about it before, and other places have talked about it, but you don't have to spend a penny on their DD to get a good team and to get the players. That is one of the that is one of the nice things about that mode compared to other games. So it is very cool to be able to, get that player that you grind to get that player, to get that card. So again, I can definitely see the appeal for a lot of people in that mode, and it's obviously it's huge. People love it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go on.
I was going to say, what's crazy? Here we are just a week from release, and you guys have talked about, Logan, you've talked about your love and where your interest lies. Scott, you and I kind of run the same ballpark and the same areas of where our love goes. But for me, I loved what I saw on the Stadium Creator. It kind of stinks that we don't have retractable roofs or dome stadiums. Mm-hmm. But, once again, we understand this is the genesis of this project, and it is just the beginning. So hopefully that's something that can be added. But I still, my point was, we're a week away, and one of my loves is taking some of the wonderful historical rosters that are created and playing in this realistic ecosystem. So can I create stadiums? Yes, I can do that. We know that now. But can I align divisions? I have they confirmed or denied?
No, okay. I don't believe that's part of it.
I can't. Yeah. So and we talked about it. I don't think they've confirmed or denied, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to place authentic logos that we create in the stadiums we create, right?
I haven't seen anything about that yet. So
yeah, I haven't seen anything myself either. But that seems like, and maybe I'm overanalyzing this a little bit, but it feels like if you could do that, that would be something they would promote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, I would think. And I also think that you got to remember too is there's got to be things that they can add to this.
Right.
That's
You
true.
can't give it all. Right. It's not a buffet year one. Right.
No, I mean, me and Bob would love a buffet right now.
I would.
I mean, it's dinner time. I mean, a buffet sounds great, but yeah, you can't add everything. So I do think that they left a few things, to be added.
Do you like how he left you out of the buffet there, Logan?
Listen, man, I love my food too. Look at me.
He just cast
There's
you
no
aside.
lack of. I'm sorry, man.
I think the three of us at a buffet would be really bad for that buffet.
Yeah, they'd be losing money on that one for sure. But I don't know, man. Like I'm at the point where I want my hands on the game. Like I'm going to grind the poop out of it this year, regardless. I'm going to be playing it virtually every day on stream. And now that it's out on Xbox, I'm going to be playing it virtually every day that I'm off stream. So I'm literally just going to have my hands so deep in this game next week when it comes out that there's no more that they need to sell me. Like I'm ready to play the game. I was ready to play the game before they showed me anything. That's just my love of MLB the Show.
The anticipation level right now is through the roof with everybody, and you got to wonder like how many players are out there, Xbox players especially, that have never played the game, and what
a lot.
There's a lot, yeah. So you wonder, like, you just wonder what kind of. I just can't wait to see the sales numbers when this game, finally does release, and you see, especially with it being on Game Pass. I think that's a huge. I don't think we've talked too much about that on the show, but that's just huge. Having that on Game Pass on day one, it just brings it to so many more people. And it's just going to be phenomenal. And I'll be honest with you, I can't wait to try it on the Xbox and the PlayStation. I want to see how each system plays the game, if it plays any better on one, or if does it look a little better on another, or does it, it's going to be, just crazy to see MLB the Show on an Xbox.
I agree.
Me, it's just, it's just super, super cool. Very exciting. I mean, I think, like we said before, we all just want the game at this point. Like, just break the 16th can't come fast enough. Just give us the game and let us play, because I think we're all just overweighting, right?
It is.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say, along with what you said, like about a lot of Xbox players coming in. I've been posting a lot of TikTok content about MLB the Show, and I cannot tell you how many people are in my comments saying, I'm so excited. I'm an Xbox player. This is going to be my first year. I've been waiting for a good baseball game on the Xbox for 10 years. Like, that's literally comment after comment after comment on my TikTok. And being able to get this game out to a massive audience, to a whole nother consumer base, is going to be fantastic ultimately for SDS. And I think it's going to be fantastic for me as a content creator, because it's going to open the game up to so many people and put so many new eyes on the product. I can't wait. I literally can't wait.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And I mean, we talked a lot about what, we're planning here with, with the show next week. So we're planning on going live next week, probably around the same time that we always go, somewhere between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to go live until midnight. We're going to go live until the game's out and playable. So we're going to have, Nutsy join us, and we're going to have all the members of the Scout Scoop stream team. We're going to have Kenny Mack back with us. We've talked to him. We're going to have some guys from MLB and MILB, hopefully. We got some other streamers, some content creators. We're just going to have people popping in and out, telling us stories about how they play the game, about when they first started playing MLB the Show, just all kinds of stuff, so we're gonna have a lot of fun with that, just rearing up that anticipation until midnight when everybody can finally start to play. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, are we going live at midnight with the game? Or are we just going to say no? Unless you're passed out.
No. I meant live on the screen. Or at 12:01, are we going, see you folks, I'm off
see
to
you
play.
Later. Well, everybody's going to sign off.
I was going to say, you can send them over to me. I'll be live on my Twitch.
Yeah, we'll be live. We're going to have a lot of cool things coming up with the game. We'll be streaming a lot of different stuff. But yeah, we're going
to have Scott in the hot tub, right?
Well, we don't want to see that. But we're going to have a lot. We've got Chris Owija has some big plans for next Thursday night. I don't know. He's going to debut some new haircut or something, but he'll be with us, and we're going to have some different people popping in and out. So that should be a lot of fun. We have some surprises, some giveaways. We're planning some giveaways. So that should be a lot of cool. We're really hoping to, push this thing that we're doing with this Down in the Dugout show on Twitch. We want to hopefully expand it, maybe add another day at some point. And we really appreciate all the support that you guys are giving us out there in the community. I mean, it's been great. We were talking for a few weeks about what we wanted to do for the subscribers of the channel and the people that are supporting us, and we wanted to come up with a name, because I know Nutsy's got he's got a name for his community, and so we came up with the 5-Tool Fan is going to be the name of the subscribers for the Down in the Dugout and the Scout Scoops channel on Twitch. So yeah, if you guys want to be a 5-Tool fan, subscribe. There's going to be a lot of cool things that we're going to do with the subscribers. We're going to have feature shows specifically for them. We're going to have a lot of different cool stuff that we're going to announce over the next few weeks. So should be a lot of fun. So we definitely appreciate everybody's support. It's something that we're looking to grow. We're going to have a lot of guest hosts over the next couple months. Next Monday, we have Vinny Rottino, who former MLB player with the Brewers and the Mets. I believe he's with the Indians. Yeah. He was with a few teams. He played in the MPB. So he's with Bally, Wisconsin. He is an on-air host with them. He'll be co-hosting with us on Monday night. So he's going to talk a little bit about his career in MLB. Also maybe some of the MPB conversation around his time over there. And then talk about, what he's doing these days. And then he's just going to join in the talk on, MLB with us on Monday night. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we're looking to have, a lot of different things going on, a lot of different people involved. So it should be a lot of fun over the next few months. We're definitely excited. I know, Bob is going to be getting some extra sleep in over the next week, because once the game launches next Thursday, it's going to be rough, Bob.
I sleep during the day anyways. It's all right. Yeah. I take 2 or 3 naps a day. Me and the dog curl up, put baseball on. Yeah. That's
we should live stream. We should live stream your naps.
They're not that exciting, really. Yeah. Yep.
You never know. You're sleeping, so you really don't know.
I mean, that's true. But when I wake up, the dog is still in the same position. So I feel like if there was, if I was being erratic, that would be. But anyways, yeah, we want to thank everybody for being part of this. Not only tonight, but always part of the community. And Logan, thanks for stopping by here again. Again, let me emphasize that again tonight. Did you have something to say? I saw your mouth open.
Oh, I said, of course. I'm always super, super happy to be here. Yeah. So,
oh no, we love Logan. Logan's like absolutely a big part of our community.
Yep.
His content he delivers, whether it be on Twitch or on TikTok or wherever, is second to none. I think he's one of the great content creators out there, and it's great to see somebody like him growing. I know next week we're going to have a bunch of the content creators from our community on. We've got Solo Bounty Mike coming on. Like I said, we're gonna have Stealth on. We'll have Shamrock. Well, whoever's available to pop on next week, we want you to come on. So if you're available and you want to pop on our show next week, if you haven't heard from me yet, send me a DM, and we're gonna make sure we have you on, because we're we also got the Cubs bobblehead popping on. So we've got a lot going on next week. So it's gonna be It's going to be a very, very fun week as we get inch closer and closer to MLB the Show. Yeah. Bob.
Yes.
One last thing.
Yes, sir.
What is this coming weekend?
More nap time for me.
Well, yeah. Besides that, it's the very last weekend of the year. Without MLB the Show 21.
Oh, that's right. See.
Right.
You got to tell me these things before. That's what the pre-show is for. You can't just throw stuff at me. But yep. Yeah. So it should be fun. I think we're all ready to go. And good show tonight, gentlemen, guys, and everybody. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll be back on Monday with a big show. And so I'm excited. I'm tired of playing the beta. I'll be honest. I'm ready to have the real game.
Bring on the 16th.
Yep. Everyone, thanks again. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, everybody.